Time. Instagram making a big play for influencers. It kicked off its first ever Creator Week, rolling out new money-making features for users. It's going to be easier to open shops to sell merchandise, and creators will be able to earn more money when people buy enough badges to support them during live videos. Also, Instagram is going to begin testing what's called a native affiliate tool that allow people to earn commissions for purchases that inspire others to make. And joining us right now to talk about all of it is Adam Mosseri. He's the head of Instagram. Adam, it's great to see you this morning. Thank you for waking up early on the West Coast. It is a big week, and it does feel a bit to me, I don't know if it's a business model shift, but I'm actually curious when you think about this shift, how much of it you think ultimately will be a business model shift if we look at what Instagram looks like 2 or 3 years from now.
Well, in general, I think it's our job to try to identify how the world is changing and make sure we lean into those broader shifts. And one of the most important ones right now, we believe, is the shift in power from institutions to individuals. Sports is a good example. Athletes are more relevant than teams for the first time in history. And we think creators, people whose personality is part of their brand and they make a living online, are a really important part of that shift. And people want to see the world through the eyes of those that they aspire to be like. They want to see what it's like to be in someone else's shoes. And so we want to lean into that shift as much as we can. And a key thing we need to do is help creators make a living. We aspire to have millions of creators make a living across all of our apps. And the announcements yesterday are just one step on that longer path.
If we do have this conversation in 2 or 3 years from now, though, when you look at the revenue mix at a place like Instagram, how much of it do you think is going to be advertising driven versus what I imagine you're hoping will be a commission-oriented business where you will capture a piece of what the creators are capturing?
I think it'll be predominantly an advertising business. But to be clear, creators generate an immense amount of content, which then we advertise against. So it's actually very symbiotic for us. But there's got to be a range of different ways for creators to make a living. So what we announced yesterday was mostly in the space of commerce. So affiliate marketing, where creators can tag products that they love and then earn a commission, and then some new tools around creator shops, because a lot of creators sell their own merchandise. But there's other things we can do in the space of allowing users to pay for gated content or tipping or digital goods. And then there's obviously rev share as well, which we already experiment with in the video space. But if we're going to be the best home for creators online, we're going to have to offer a suite of these types of monetization products, because there's a lot of competition and it's heating up fast.
Speak to the issue of how you're going to be splitting the revenues between the creators and Instagram itself, and how that may differ from some of the other platforms.
So we also announced this week that for all of the products where users actually paid creators directly, we're waiving all fees to the end of next year. We think it's an important thing to signal exactly what we're going to be taking and what creators are going to be able to make over the long run. We also signal that we're going to take less than the 30% that companies like Apple take for digital transactions, because we just, quite frankly, think that's too high and not sustainable. But we wanted to make sure we signal to the market where we're going, and particularly to creators, so that they can make educated decisions about where to place, or where to spend that time, I should say.
How is that going to work on a platform like iOS? Meaning, is Apple going to still be taking a piece of that?
It depends on the specific product. So when there are digital transactions that happen on iOS, Apple insists that they take 30% of that. There's a very few number of exceptions. So for transactions that happen directly in iOS, we're going to have to abide by their rules. It's their playground. They set the rules. We have to abide by those. But in general, we're going to look for other ways to help creators make a living and facilitate transactions that happen in other places. So for instance, if we can help brands and creators vet each other and find each other, they can make those transactions happen offline. Right. So if you're for affiliate marketing, it's real goods, not digital goods. And so there the Apple Store or the general App Store takes don't apply. So we'll try to lean into the places where creators can actually make a stable living.
Do you think the rules that Apple has around its App Store at 30%, that's fair? Should they be able to determine what that price is?
I will say that they have an immense amount of power. They own one of the most important operating systems in the world, and they get to dictate those rules with very little oversight. I think that it's hard to justify taking such a large cut of a transaction that you don't facilitate directly. But I don't get to set the rules. They do.
The flip side, I'm sure somebody at Apple would say, should Facebook set the rules for the prices on advertising at Facebook?
It's a reasonable retort, though I would say that our prices for advertising are auction-based. So yes, there are ways that we are involved, but in general, we believe in free markets. We believe that allowing the demand to set the price. And as a result, you'll see our prices move, not radically, but move up and down based on our ability to generate more supply, but also our ability to deliver value for advertisers. And then at the end of the day, you get to decide what you're going to spend as an advertiser, and we think that's important.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.